2018 has not been very exciting for 2K Games. Despite publishing some truly great games in the past decade, this year has been somewhat lacking. But they have a solution.
First up in this week's news roundup, 2K Games, the folks who publish games like Bioshock, Borderlands and XCOM, said they want to make more games and they are willing to spend more money to do so. After having what is best described as a small presence at E3 this year, 2K had no new games to show outside of their annual sports titles like NBA and WWE. People expected them to show off the upcoming Borderlands 3 at E3, but the game ended up being a no-show, and their E3 booth was, it was empty. Actually, it was basically empty. But this drought of games is something 2K are looking to fix, and they recently unveiled a new 3-point plan they believe will remedy the problem. Speaking to GamesIndustry.biz, 2K president David Ismailer said the publisher is looking to grow in a big way, and the first priority is to expand their portfolio of games. Ismailer said, quote, "We're looking to expand and grow our portfolio, whether it's internally developing more products or it's adding more long-term partnerships to our 2K product line. We're looking for quality products to deliver to consumers with long engagement."
Ismailer said 2K will be increasing the amount of resources they invest into projects by expanding existing studios, working with independent studios and investing more time and money into development. When asked about partnering with independent studios, Ismailer had this to say, quote, "Some independent developers have had success, but then they're ready to take the next step. We're not going to force anybody into doing anything. They have to want to do it." The third and final part of 2K's 3-point plan is to involve themselves more in live games. And on the topic of live services, Ismailer compared it to an amusement park. The more rides they have, the longer you want to stay. Quote, "Then sometimes the amusement park has a nighttime event and I stay until that event. They keep me in there. And occasionally they build a new roller coaster and I come back to experience that roller coaster. We're building our games in the same way. We need live events. We need post-launch content. We need to keep the consumer engaged once they get in." Ismailer suggested the company is looking to investing in new IP and fresh ideas, as well as green-lighting broader projects from studios like Firaxis, who are working on a new IP not related to Civilization or XCOM.
It doesn't really sound like all that exciting stuff when a company says, "Oh, we need to keep the consumer engaged." Well, I like to think of it as an amusement park. Well, that's great for you, but not for us as much, I suppose. But it sounds an awful lot like they want to do Destiny or The Division, like everyone wants to do these days. They want to make a game that's not just multiplayer, it just keeps people coming back for like the updates and the seasonal stuff and the big patches and whatever. They want to see what's new, and they want that kind of rolling, people checking in over time to see what's changed kind of game. Which is, I can see why they'd want to do that. I can see why, because it probably makes them a lot of money over a longer period, and people playing your game for a long time means more money for you, right? But the best thing to come out of all that is the fact that Firaxis are making something else, because I flippin' loved XCOM. It was good. Also in the news this week, Epic Games is one of the most valuable games companies on the planet right now, thanks to the success of Fortnite. According to analysis by Bloomberg, Epic Games is being valued somewhere between $5 to $8 billion. This valuation includes all of Epic's business, such as the licensing of their Unreal Engine to other developers, and of course Fortnite, which is expected to generate $2 billion in revenue this year. That is a massive increase from the $825 million that Epic was valued at back in 2012, when Chinese mega publisher Tencent acquired its 40% stake in the company. Bloomberg also added that the growth of Fortnite has made Epic Games CEO and founder Tim Sweeney a billionaire. And if you're still not amazed by the continued success of the game, it also emerged this week that the mobile version of Fortnite is generating $2 million in revenue per day, and it has already passed the $1 billion mark for in-app purchases. Fortnite has been so successful for Epic that they recently reduced the cut they take from sales made through the Unreal Engine marketplace, meaning developers on the platform take home a bigger share of the proceeds.
It's not at all surprising that Epic are worth loads of money now. What's surprising is they're making $2 million every single day on the mobile version of Fortnite, which is very, very surprising. Although that does show you why so many people want to try and copy Fortnite or a Battle Royale game. They're worth loads, they're making loads. Who wouldn't want a bit of that? In other news this week, a report by news outlet Thurrott indicates that Microsoft is already prepping not one, but 2 consoles for launch in 2020. According to the report, the project is using the codename Scarlet, and it will be made up of a traditional console and another smaller, less expensive streaming box. The streaming device is referred to as Scarlet Cloud, and it will be less powerful than its console counterpart. It will cost less than a console, but more than a streaming device like a Chromecast or Fire TV. Thurrott also reports that all Scarlet games will be compatible with both the traditional console and the streaming device. Microsoft has reportedly developed a technique to tackle the latency problems which affect cloud gaming in its current form. The streaming device would handle controller input, image processing, and collision detection locally, which reduces the amount of data being sent over the network. While this information is only a rumour, it's worth mentioning that at E3 this year, Xbox head Phil Spencer announced the formation of a cloud gaming division, and he revealed that the company was working on a game streaming service, but that's all he shared.
So it's currently called Scarlet. Xbox One X was called Scorpio. A bit of a pattern there. Scorpio, Scarlet, SC. So I wonder what they'll call it. What's really good about Xbox's names is that they've got Xbox One X, which is Xbox when you take the first letters of all them words. I wonder if it'll be Xbox One
X1?
Xbox X Box 1X.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they
Xbox
could go forever calling their things
Xbox One X,
Xbox One X, and it could be like
Xbox,
binary
One
code
Xbox.
or something. That could be amazing. It's a new way of doing numbers and I like it. And finally, in the ongoing loot box saga, Dutch Dota 2 players are now able to see the contents of their next loot box. Earlier this month, Valve were forced to lock out loot boxes in Counter-Strike Global Offensive for players in the Netherlands and Belgium in order to conform with new regulations put in place by their gambling authorities. Now, Valve has made even more changes to how loot boxes work in their games, and Dota 2 players in the Netherlands are given a peek at what's inside the loot box before they buy it now. The new system was brought to light by Redditor Laugh, who posted a screenshot of the new system in action. The Dota 2 treasury now shows the contents of the next loot box that players can open before being opened, and players can no longer buy multiple loot boxes simultaneously. However, players are only able to see the contents of the box they are currently looking at, and it is tied to their account. You'll have to buy it to see what's in the next loot box. These changes are apparently enough to satisfy the Dutch Gambling Authority, but they are only active in Dota 2 at the moment, and Valve has not said if they will be applied to other games.
This is a very clever way of getting around the law, Valve. Just make the walls of the box transparent, but just the one box, because you can't see what's further down the line.
Yeah.
It still doesn't take away the problem. If you want something that's very specific, you have to buy loot box after loot box after loot box after loot box to get it to spawn in the transparent box that you've got in front of you. Yeah. Essentially, the problem is still there, but they're kind of circumventing the law. You're not gambling anymore because you know what you're buying. Technically, there's still that incentive there for you to keep buying, and that's the problem, right?
It's a weird idea because you get a scratch card, imagine. The guy selling you the scratch card goes, well, you haven't won that one, but I can't sell you any other scratch card until you've bought that one. Another way of looking at it is that all it means is that you're guaranteed to buy one shit scratch card, no matter who you are. So it's a weird one, but apparently it's enough. It's enough for the Dutch Gambling Authority for now.
There you have it, another week, another gaming news roundup. Let us know what caught your eye this week down in them comments below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here. Check out another one of the videos on your screen there. Support us on Patreon using that link. We'll see you again in the next video. Until then, bye for now.